In today's world, we're all building fortresses. Not with stone and mortar, of course, but with something way more valuable, our data. We're talking about our personal info, our company's biggest secrets, pretty much our entire digital lives. So the real question isn't if we should defend them, but how we do it. And trust me, the answer might not be what you think. Really think about that for a second. If you were defending an actual castle, would you just stack up the thickest walls you could and then, I don't know, call it a day? Probably not, right? You'd want to think like the attacker. You'd be out there scouting for hidden cracks, checking for weak gates, and looking for those unguarded paths. Well, that exact same dilemma is right at the heart of how we do digital defense today. So let's start with those walls. In our digital world, building those walls, that's what we call cybersecurity. Think of it as our huge, all-encompassing shield. At its core, cybersecurity is really a defensive game. It's all about creating the right policies, setting up digital firewalls, and putting controls in place to protect things. It's that constant day-in, day-out job of building and maintaining the fortress. It never really stops. And the whole mission of cybersecurity, it really boils down to three main goals. It's known as the CIA triad. First up is confidentiality, which is pretty simple. It's about keeping secrets safe. Then you've got integrity, which makes sure that your data is trustworthy and that nobody's messed with it. And finally, availability. That just means you can actually get to your data when you need it. Every single strong defense is built on these three pillars. And you can see just how massive that shield really is. It's not just one thing. It's all these layers of protection working together, securing the network, the apps we use, our stuff in the cloud, and maybe most importantly, that often overlooked layer, educating the actual people who use the systems. It's got to be a complete defensive strategy. Okay, so if cybersecurity is the shield, then what's the sword? Well, that's where ethical hacking comes in. And it is a completely different, much more aggressive approach to security. Now, I want you to pay super close attention to two words here, authorized and proactive. Unlike a malicious hacker, an ethical hacker has permission. And they aren't just sitting around waiting for an attack to happen. They're proactively stress testing the defenses to find weaknesses before the bad guys even get a chance. And this right here? This is the core mindset. An ethical hacker uses the exact same tools, the same sneaky techniques, and the same creative, outside-the-box thinking as a criminal attacker. The only difference, and it's a huge one, is their goal. It's not to cause harm, but to find the flaws so we can all help fix them. And this isn't just chaos, okay? It's a highly structured professional process. It always starts with getting explicit permission. Then comes the reconnaissance, the probing for weaknesses. If they find something, they try to actually exploit it to prove it's a real threat. And this is the most important part. It all ends with a detailed report on what they found and exactly how to strengthen that shield. Okay, so we've got our shield and we've got our sword. Let's put them side by side. It'll make it super clear exactly how they're different and, more importantly, how they're supposed to work together. And wow, the differences are pretty stark when you lay them out like this. Cybersecurity, that's the broad, continuous marathon of building and protecting. But an ethical hack, that's a targeted sprint, totally designed to break and test a specific thing. Their goals are complete opposites. One is all about maintaining security, while the other is laser-focused on finding the flaws. It's your classic offense versus defense. So, even though we have versus in the title, these two aren't really enemies at all. In fact, they're two sides of the very same coin. They are essential partners in creating a defense that actually, works. And that's really the bottom line here. This whole versus idea is just a big misconception. You absolutely cannot have effective security with just one or the other. You need to build the best shield you possibly can, and then you need to hand the sharpest sword you can find to a trusted expert and say, go ahead, try to break it. Because think about it, every single vulnerability the ethical hacker finds, every little crack in the wall they discover, that is a priceless piece of intelligence. That intel feeds directly back to the cybersecurity team, who can then patch the hole, update the policy, and make the whole defense stronger. The sword makes the shield better, period. And that right there is the most important thing to remember. A defense that's never been tested is really just a theory, isn't it? But a defense that's been actively and rigorously tested by an expert who is trying their best to break it, now that is a defense you can actually start to trust. So I'll just leave you with this one question. In your own digital life, whether it's for your business or just for your own personal data, are you only building walls and just hoping they hold? Or are you actively testing them? Because in the world we live in today, that simple shift in thinking makes all the difference.